Welcome
to Sleep Drunk.
to Sleep Drunk, where our new intro music is delayed thanks to some technical difficulties.
What are those?
The click track got deleted somehow.
Click track.
So basically it's like a background track that I set up. That my brother set up on his computer and somehow got deleted.
Oh, well, isn't that a shame?
It is a shame. So hopefully within the next couple of episodes we'll be ready. I have to persuade him to
Do it again.
actually, re-record the click track. So
It got deleted on his end as well.
yeah, no, he's the one that has it. He's the one that has it.
So I just never got to.
Yes. So, today on the show, we're going to talk about a movie that's stirred up some controversy as of late that we've both seen.
Yeah, we live in a society.
Yeah, we really live in a society. And then afterwards, we're going to do a bit of a discussion Avenue XL, double XL, because we've had some pretty eventful past week and a half-ishes. At the time of recording.
Definitely.
Pretty eventful. So, that being said, let's talk about Joker. So, Alex, I know this, at least going into it, I guess the way we thought this out was that it was almost 2 weeks ago. It was opening weekend. And at the time, I kind of wanted to do like a guys' night, hang out with everyone, get some of the guys together, go watch a movie. And I was like, Joker's out, so let's go for it. And going into it, I know you were kind of skeptical because this isn't really like your genre.
No, yeah, I prefer like drama movies or something that tells a good story, perhaps even a true story, as true as true story movies get.
Yeah.
And just some good cinematography. And little did I know I was going to get that.
Yeah. Because I think a big misconception about this movie is that this is not your modern day big budget superhero comic book movie. Like, this isn't your Avengers, your Iron Man, your Aquaman. Also, Aquaman. I'll talk about Aquaman at some point, but this isn't that genre of movie. And I think now a lot of people are starting to realize that, but I'm still seeing some people flown around there or just calling it a comic book movie when really it isn't. I think the best description of it, I forgot where I heard this, but I think the best description of it would be art house cinema masquerading as a comic book film.
I think that's a really good way of putting it, because it tells a story that's related to the theme, but that's about it.
It's very much a character movie. And so if you haven't seen the film yet, I think this would be roughly the part where you should jump to the next chapter. There's your podcast player. There's the chapter thing. Just use your podcast player if you're on YouTube. Good luck. But on your podcast player, chapter thing, skip to the next chapter, because we're going to go to spoilers. And really, I think this is a movie that you should watch if you're above the age of 17 and can watch rated R movies. Although, honestly, I think this movie really did earn the R rating. This is a proper R-rated movie.
Yeah, there were a few gore scenes. There was
Yeah. Because, I feel like there's some movies that are R-rated that could totally get off as PG-13. Deadpool 2 released a PG-13 version. That was kind of a meme. But I feel like especially Deadpool 2 could totally have been a PG-13 movie. But,
yeah.
This is a movie definitely earned the R rating. So, on that topic, I think, let's talk about some of the controversies around it, since we're talking about the rating and that kind of thing. So, if you're unaware, there's been, around the movie's release, there was a fair bit of controversy about some of the themes, because the movie centers around this individual, Arthur Fleck, which is actually a pun on Ben Affleck's name, because his initials are A. Fleck, because Ben Affleck was going to play Batman and then backed out.
Lamau got him.
Yeah, Big got him. And so the main premise is that this individual, he's very socially outcast. He is mentally unstable, not in a good place, right? And he goes on and does some really, really violent things. He does some really just stabby, shooty, lots of violent things. And people were arguing that, this could inspire someone to do the same things, since we live in a society, right?
If I had $1 for every time someone said that about something and then it turned out to not be true, I'd probably not be here.
What would you be doing instead?
Probably reclined at about a 45-degree angle in a really, really obnoxiously expensive camp recliner chair that I just decided to pull out of the cabin of my yacht and put out on the front deck.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought you might just be like that, just choked on your money or something, or just kind of died. for whatever reason.
No, I decided to put it in my mouth and I contracted some really weird disease.
All right, cool. It's the plot of The Division.
That's a plot of how I got a cold a few years ago.
That sounds like a really crappy CW show. How I Got a Cold. But
Not wrong.
But so I think here's the thing. I will say that I think a lot of the fact that this is in fact like technically a comic book movie put a little more like gives it a bit more gravitas, because in theory it would have a wider appeal because cinema has a pretty wide appeal. And while I can totally understand that opinion, I think it's just wrong. Like Joaquin Phoenix, the actor for Arthur Fleck / Joker, I think he said it quite well, where if people are going to do something, they will find, like, they won't need inspiration. If someone's capable of doing something not good, then they're just going to do it. They don't need inspiration. Like, and I think that's a pretty apt way of saying it. Like, in a lot of cases, someone is...
like, I think another argument is that it's also a justification or...
glorification.
Not necessarily a glorification, but it just shows them that I guess that is an appropriate way of responding. But I feel like if they were capable, like you say, if they were capable of doing that in the first place, they probably were. They didn't need already capable of doing it. Like that wasn't the thing that pushed them over.
Yeah. Which I think is a fair point. So it's like, honestly, just calm your tits, keep them calm, chill them out, put some ice on them. Cube on each nip, you'll be fine. Calm down.
Yeah, the nips.
To quote Taylor Swift, you need to calm down.
All right.
That is a song she released recently.
Oh God.
You need to calm down.
Once a Swiftie, always a Swiftie, I guess.
I was a OG Swiftie. I was a Swiftie before it was cool to be a Swiftie.
Yeah. I mean, was it ever cool?
I mean, before it was mainstream to be a Swiftie, relatively speaking. Right at the start.
Were you though?
I was made fun of for it.
I mean, yeah, but
in middle school, a lot.
You'd probably still be made fun of today.
But like now I don't care. That's the main thing. I don't care. Just like Joker.
Yeah.
I don't care. That being said, the movie as a whole. I will say, I think going into it, right? I'm kind of conflicted in this part because part of me wanted to see... So, really, Joker as a character... I'm not going to say the Joker for a reason, but Joker as a character isn't really in the movie until, like, the last 20 minutes. Last 30, 20 minutes. The first whole, like, hour and a half is all Arthur Fleck. Like, the movie could have just been called Fleck. But that wouldn't have gotten nearly as many pulls. But... as much traction. But, like... part of me still wishes there was more Joker, but I feel like that also would have diluted the value of what we got. Because, like, I'm just conflicted about it. I just am. And I'll also say we are not professional movie reviewers. I'm not Jeremy Johns or Chris Stuckman or some writer for a magazine. This is my first time reviewing a movie. It's not something I'm good at. But we're learning. I'm learning.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. But, like, I just think about the pacing. I still think that having that large period of Arthur time in the beginning ultimately helped the movie. Because when Arthur flipped and became Joker, I think it really sold it. Like, I believed that. Like, I was like, yeah, because that guy
if you just say, like, that's what happens at first, it's sort of like, I don't know. But if you let the viewer sympathize with him and get to know him and then see the entire process of how it's drawn out, it makes it a little more believable.
Yeah. And speaking on the topic of selling it, I think Joaquin Phoenix really both sold Arthur and Joker as, like, different characters. I think they fundamentally are different characters in this movie. Like, Arthur Fleck is a character on the fringes of society. Like, I think the way my AP Lang teacher put it is that he's at the edge of the box. Like, his analogy was that thinking outside the box gets you arrested. Thinking at the edge of the box gets you success, right? That's how you go. Like, you gotta be at the edge of the box. So I think Arthur Fleck was very much at the very edge of the box. He was holding on. He was touching that box wall. And Joker is in a sphere. Like, if Arthur's in the box, Joker's in a sphere. Like, he's out there. He is gone. And I think those are fundamentally very different characters. I think the one bit where it kind of crossed over was the scene where he was with the talk show host. What was his name? Maurice? Something?
It wasn't Maurice, but I know who you're talking about. The guy that's in place of your typical Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. I can't believe I forgot his name. I liked him, too, as a character. But the one part where, like...
I didn't, but, you know.
I mean, I still think he... Okay, I'll talk about this. We had a little debate about this when we came back for the film. But, like, the part where he says, like... what do you think happens when you cross a mentally unstable person with, like, something? It's like, that was very much on the nose. Like, I was like, come on, man, you could have said something different. You know the scene where he's like yelling at him? He's like, what do you think happens when you cross a mentally unstable individual with, like, neglect or whatever? Something like that. I was like, that was on the nose. That, I didn't dig that. But then he shot him.
Yeah?
And I was like, the shot where he was shot. Murray. The shot where Murray was shot was really well done. Like, I'm not a huge, like, cinema guy. Like, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen that people tell me I should have seen. But based on my own experiences, I really like the very abrupt cut when they just kind of cut to, it was like a landscape shot, I guess like a frontway shot of Joker and Murray. Like, just that cut of him just shooting him was just like that. It was very sudden and very abrupt. And I liked that because there was a lot of surprise because you knew it was coming. You saw him rehearsing the bit, but the way he did it was really good. And on the topic of Joker in general, I think Joaquin Phoenix also really, I mean, I said this earlier, but he really did sell Joker as a character. Like, I'm someone who even now still thinks Heath Ledger's Joker is the definitive Joker. And for those who don't know, and Alex, because I'm assuming you're not a huge fan of Batman. I'm not really either.
I'm not.
But, like, so there's a bunch of different portrayals of Joker, right? Normally they're just called by their actors, like Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Doge, and, like, Joaquin Phoenix, right? They're all called, like, the different depictions. And for me personally, Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight, for a lot of people of this generation, is the definitive Joker. Like, that's the Joker. That's who you think about when we live in a society. And, well, I'm not going to say Joaquin Phoenix's depiction beats Heath Ledger's. I think it's as good a performance as that could have been. It was like, I can understand if someone would say that is their definitive Joker. Because that he is wow, he sold that character. He really did. Like, it was good. It was just a really good portrayal. So I think plot generally, I don't really have a lot to say about it. I thought I would have more to say about it.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot to say about it. It's just a story that relates to the
because I think the weird thing is that not a lot actually happens, like, plot point wise. Like,
right, you know the gist of the story going in, unless you don't, and you're literally just there at the box office, and you're like, I wonder what that movie is. Is it a stand-up?
I would love to see, like, some dad who has no idea taking his kids in, and they get that,
and they get Society.
That'd be pretty funny. But I think, like, plot wise, there aren't a lot of, like, huge plot points. I think a lot of it is, once again, like, Arthur Fleck's descent into Jokerness. But I think, first off, I really think the plot gets going when he gets the gun. Like,
yeah, that's what accelerates it.
Yeah, like, he gets a gun. Like, he gets beat up, and then he gets a gun. And then, probably my favorite line in the movie, what kind of clown carries a gun? I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but it just was. Like, it was just a funny bit. I don't know why, but that made me laugh.
Just in context and the performance of the line.
Because it's like,
the delivery.
Yeah, the delivery was really good. Because I think part was that, like, so in that bit in the movie, if you don't remember it, like, you see like Arthur at this point, he's a clown, right? Is he doing like a thing at a hospital to cheer up these terminally ill cancer kids, right? Because, cancer kids deserve to be happy. He drops his gun, and everyone's like, oh, he's got a gun. I wonder what that's about. Just kind of picks up, he's like, shh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about what's in the bag.
Yep, don't worry about what's in the bag.
It's just the bag.
But he just, like, yeah. That, I don't know why, but that line was really funny. I just thought it was funny. I don't know why. Besides just
Fair enough.
yeah. Actually, I wanted to ask you something. What are your thoughts on the romantic subplot, the quasi subplot they did?
I don't really know that it had a whole lot of place in the movie, but it's sort of, I guess. The only possible purpose that I can imagine for that subplot is that it sort of distracted from like complete negativity towards Tim to only somewhat. Like there were like not literally everything that could go wrong in his life was going wrong.
Here's the thing. I feel like my thing with this, I feel like initially while it was happening, right, I didn't feel like it was necessary, but when at the middle end they showed it never actually happened, I think was a really good move. Because remember in the end, right, how like he walked to her apartment and she was like, "Who the hell are you?"
Yeah.
Because like it never actually happened. He was like imagining.
I was just very confused by that. So I guess
he was imagining the whole thing. That's what
okay. Well, then never mind.
Yeah, like in that context, it makes it a very clever plot device. That it's like it was his own rationalizations. Because when it was happening, I was like, "Hey, that's happening way too fast." Like,
yeah,
I
was very confused by it and how it was happening. But I was just like, you know what, whatever.
Like at the end, he's like, you realize it's all in his head, and he's thinking of all of this, right? Like in his own little world. And I think it's interesting because it casts a lot of doubt as to the movie's own reliability. Because if he thought of that, like, you think, what else could he have thought up? The whole movie could have been a hallucination. The whole movie could have been like, he could have made a lot of it up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of that interpretation personally. I think it's better if the events did actually happen.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
Like, I feel like the events probably did happen. So Jeremy Johns and his spoiler talk, which we will include in the show notes, either his spoiler talk or his like theory talk. He talked about this, and like I really agree with him that I think it's better if the events at least happened at some point. Like I think the other idea is that these happened when he was a lot younger, and he was inserting his current age into them, because that also brings the whole Thomas Wayne subplot into question. Because when you think about it, right? So in the movie, there's this whole subplot that Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne, Batman's dad, is the Joker's real father, right? And that Joker's mother, Peggy, I think it was Peggy or Penny. I think Penny. So Joker's mother, Penny, she like hadn't worked with him. They had an affair. Baby came out, is what it was, right? And it's weird because at the end we see a photo of Penny, and at the bottom it says you have like a lovely smile, TW. Assume Thomas Wayne. They're casting doubt, and I think that's throughout the movie, the idea of casting doubt. When you look back, it just changes a lot of the way you see things, you know? Like, the fact is that nothing is for sure. Like, nothing is for certain. Like, for all we know, like, the little, like, vertically challenged guy, whatever term you want to use, so I'm not trying to step on any toes.
Gary.
Was that his name?
Yeah.
His name was Gary? Like, Gary might not have existed. Gary could have been a figment of Arthur's imagination.
I guess he could have been if the one thing that I was saying was the one thing that was sort of going right in his life didn't even happen. Mm-hmm. Gary was also a figure that never represented negativity towards Arthur.
Gary was a good guy.
Yeah, Gary was a genuinely good guy.
Yeah, and he didn't get a scissor in his neck. Gary didn't.
Yeah, he let Gary go.
Also, I loved the part where...
Unlock the door for Gary.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved that scene so much. Because, like, it had me thinking, is he going to kill Gary? Is he going to kill Gary? He just gave Gary a little kiss on the head. A little kiss on his little bald head. Sent him on his way. Like, I loved that. Gary. I loved that. Because that showed, like, I think a large trait of at least many mainline Joker interpretations that he's very unstable. He can do one thing at one time, another thing at another time. Like drop of the hat. Right? And... I think that showed that, like, you know, it's like, yeah, he just kind of killed a guy, cold blood, whatever. Let Gary go. Gary's a good guy. We like Gary. You like Gary? Because I like Gary.
I like Gary.
Gary's great.
Well, I mean, the reason he liked Gary is because Gary never did anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Gary's a good guy. Gotta like Gary.
Yeah.
Can't hate Gary.
Can't.
Sequels. I want to talk about that. That's a. I don't want a sequel.
I don't either. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah. At least, okay, I don't want...
As long as the story was correct. And I don't... That's something I don't personally necessarily care for in a movie, is the doubt everywhere. I'd rather it just be a little more straightforward.
Yeah.
Like, there's okay if there's some.
Yeah.
But not a whole lot.
See, for me, I don't want there to be a Joker sequel. I don't want another Arthur Fleck movie. I would not mind a Batman movie based on the Joker premise. Like a more dark, gritty Batman based on that premise. Because I had this theory right after I watched the movie that everyone was pointing out how they never called the movie The Joker. They called it Joker. And he's never referred to as The Joker. He's referred to as Joker. And a common aspect of the Joker as a character, especially in the comic books, and I'm not a huge comic guy, but just to my knowledge, is that there's no concrete backstory for him. The Joker, like, there's a few different origin stories, but the Joker in the main line has no backstory. No known specific backstory. And so, like, when we see the movie, right, Joker emerges, and Bruce Wayne, who is Batman, is still a kid, right? He's a little 10-year-old Bruce Wayne, gets his thumbs in his mouth, little kid, right? Parents die. You know the Batman backstory. So, my personal headcanon would be that another Joker would emerge that was inspired by Arthur Fleck Joker. And I would not mind that as much. Because at that point, it's still maintaining the integrity of the original film, but it's adding to it in a different way.
Well, also, was it always in the original story? Because I don't know anything about this myself. Was it always in the original story that the Joker did kill Batman's parents?
No, he didn't. It was some random thugs.
And didn't he... No, he didn't in that movie either, did he?
It was some random guy that was like wearing a clown mask.
Yeah.
Like, you could argue that the Joker's actions led to a series of events, butterfly effect, that killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. But in the comics, in most cases, and I think in the primary Batman canon, although I don't, the DC universe is all f***ed up and I don't really know it that well. In that line, there is, like, he was just killed by some guys. Like, someone was trying to rob them. And then they got shot. And so, in that regard, like, I think that would make sense. And it would make for, like, a darker, grittier Batman. Because Ben Affleck, I only watched one DCEU movie, and that was Aquaman. But from what I've heard, Ben Affleck Batman kind of sucks. Christopher Nolan Batman, Christian Bale Batman, great. Other Batmans kind of clowns. But, like, I wouldn't mind, like, a darker Batman done correctly. Because, actually, for some context, Alex, I have to explain the whole Ben Affleck thing. So, in the Justice League movies, like, Batman kills people, and his big thing is, like, he'll do everything except kill someone. Like, he'll do everything except kill someone. Like, that's his one thing. He doesn't kill, right? And, like, and the thing is, like, in The Dark Knight, one of the big plots is the Joker in The Dark Knight is trying to get him to kill someone. He's trying to get him to kill him. It's like, the Joker wants Batman to kill him. To break Batman's code and break him as a person. Like,
right.
That's one of the huge plots, that Batman just doesn't kill people. And in the DCEU movies, we see Batman with an M16 shooting terrorists. And it's like, what the f***? It's the same Batman. It's not the same what you do.
Yeah, that's one of his main principles. It's just
yeah.
like...
Yeah, it's just like, because they based it off of this one offshoot Batman comic that's like an alternate universe thing where, like, he's all old and wizened and does kill people. But that is a separate story that exists in the context of the rest of the timeline, where this is meant to be a deviation. Like, I think it's called, like, Batman Returns. That's the name of the storyline. And the whole idea is that it's meant to be antithetical as a story. Like, it's meant to be separate. But they based the movie on that without establishing the prior, like, rules. So yeah, like, it's just bad. It's bad. So I wouldn't mind seeing a darker Batman that takes some of those characteristics but still doesn't kill people. That's what I would like to see from this. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Probably, because Hollywood money. They will milk things.
Yeah.
Like, we got a second Godzilla movie. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in everything. That man prints money. Like, mainly, I'm trying to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Batman.
Oh my god.
Like, Bruce Wayne grows up, becomes Samoan, Like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is Batman. Let's make it happen.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it'd probably sell plenty.
So many tickets.
Because Dwayne Rock Johnson, it doesn't matter if it's good. It's
Dwayne Johnson hasn't done either of like the two main. He isn't in the Marvel universe. He isn't in the DC universe. He's a free agent, and we got to get him.
I feel like he might be trying to purposely keep it that way.
Oh yeah, probably.
He can get the highest bidder.
Or just like his career is defined. Because like Robert Downey Jr., for example, is kind of Iron Man now. Like he is Iron Man. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Like, what do you know Robert Downey Jr. from besides like Marvel movies?
I also don't know him
That's
from
fair.
Marvel movies because I don't know any of that kind of stuff.
But like the bottom line is like he's not. He's very much.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying like I'm not the person to ask.
Yeah, it's even worse for Hugh Jackman, honestly. Like, Hugh Jackman had it real bad. But, like, I think he doesn't want that. I don't blame him. But then again, I think Dwayne The Rock Johnson is forever going to be the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, I think that's what we all really know him as in our hearts.
Yeah. Dwayne the Fairy Johnson. That being said, I think it's time we float past a sleeping unwanted child of chat to pull his mother's fallen teeth out from under a pillow. The pillow of debate. On Discussion Avenue.
Yeet. There's a whole lot going on there.
There's a lot going on there. I went there. It's sad.
Yeah, very.
Discussion Avenue. Discussion Avenue, I think we've established at this point, is not a happy place.
No, it's not.
Like,
because discourse in this society that we live in is not very positive anymore. You know?
Yep. So this week's Discussion Avenue is going to be Discussion Avenue Double XL because we both had eventful weeks. And Alex, I think I'll let you start with Alex Blast, which is going to be an asymmetric unit of time.
Yes, I forgot that I used to even call it that well.
Shout out to the longtime viewers,
honestly,
listeners.
If you know what that is, then thanks for listening.
Yep, thank you.
So let's see. Last time we recorded was a long time ago.
2 weeks, bi-weekly.
2 weeks. So, God, 2 weeks ago. I don't really think much happened that weekend, did it?
No.
Just saw the Joker that weekend, I guess.
Yeah, we saw Joker that weekend.
And then that week of classes went by. It wasn't a particularly stressful week of classes. It was fine. And then I had plans to carpool back home to the Moonmen with a friend of mine who also belongs to the Moonmen.
He's one of the researchers.
Yeah. And I got back home for Columbus Day weekend. It's a long weekend, you know. I'm going to go home, spend some time with my family. I also had plans to work on my phone because it needed some improvements.
For context, Pixel 2.
Yeah, I have Pixel 2. It needed a new battery because it wasn't holding a charge super well. But most importantly, it needed a new USB daughter board because the port was very loose and you could plug a cable into it and it would like disconnect and reconnect and stupid stuff like that. And I was sick of it. So I bought all the parts that I needed online and I went at it Thursday night. Everything had been delivered. And the job really went flawlessly, all things considered. The only surprise that I ran into is when I was dismantling the phone, I get to the haptic feedback engine, the vibrator, Lamau, and it was soldered directly to the board that I was replacing. And I left all of my nice soldering equipment up here, so I went to my garage and scavenged through my dad's tools, and I found this Chicago Tools soldering iron, like, might as well not even have been branded. The tip was bent and covered in things, and
it's like soldering gunk.
I don't even think so. Like, I don't know if it just did not oxidize well, or if he got burnt plastic on it or something, but it was nasty. It took me a good 15 to 20 minutes to find a place on the tip that could conduct enough heat in order to melt the solder. Like after I'd let it heat, because those kinds of soldering irons take a good few minutes to heat. And it it got the job done. I've done a soldering job or two before, so because of that, I was able to get the job done fairly quickly despite the lacking tools. But other than that, job went smoothly. Everything went right back in the phone. And right before I was preparing to put the adhesive on the screen, I decided to turn the phone on, and the screen wasn't working. So there I am, a few good dollars in, but I don't really know how much money I paid for the first batch of parts. But yeah, there I am with the phone with the screen that doesn't turn on, but like the phone's on, and I know that because it's like the vibration thing is doing its job, and I can type in my PIN code on the screen despite the screen not even being on. And like I can talk to my Google Assistant and have it do for me even though I can't see what it's doing. So that was really fun. It wasn't fun. And then I decided what am I going to do about this? I don't have a whole lot of money because college,
Just broke college kids.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm quirky, yet I'm a broke college kid.
Yeah, that. And I decided the least costly thing that I could probably do, since I probably damaged the screen somehow, because the screens are in fact very fragile, is just go get a replacement. And the replacements on Amazon were so expensive, and I couldn't justify it. So I looked on eBay, and I found, after actually a while of searching, it took me a while, found one for $45, and I paid $20 for USPS Priority Mail Express shipping to get it there on time. So, yikes. It shows up, do a quick little swap job, right? Just plug the little ribbon cable into the phone, and what do you know? It doesn't work either. So I gutted the phone again. I removed every speck of dust and anything that could possibly be shorting the thing out or causing issues, and put it all back together like piece by piece, exactly as it was supposed to be. Literally, the screws went back into their original holes. Everything went back where it was supposed to be. Screen remained black. So I guess it was somehow damaged as well. I noticed on the first screen where it was damaged, and I guess that is my fault after all. But the second screen, I don't understand. So I just contacted Google. I'm like, maybe they'll know what to do. Turns out their support doesn't know anything about phones, because while I was telling the guy about how I had replaced the battery and the USB board, he just sort of was checking my warranty. I'm like, I don't think the warranty is going to be valid if I opened the phone. He's like, oh, you opened it?
Oh no! Did they not have like a separate department, like a
No,
repair department?
They don't handle the repair, so that comes in later. So he's checking my warranty, and he's like, well, your warranty is still in effect until November something, which is absolutely perfect. I mean, like that this is not going to end well. You should really stop.
What do I look like?
You look like a unicorn, except like pokey.
Listeners, sorry to this, but like while I was doing this, I was kind of fidgeting, so I've taken a knife and I've attached it to my hat.
The amount of stupid things you do while fidgeting is insane.
And I've extended it, and I now look like a knife unicorn. But continue, Alex. So deep unicorn.
He just sort of says, "That's fine. I won't put that down." Basically, I don't know exactly how he said it, but he just said. I think he was trying to push onto me a sort of confidence that they won't notice, because the screen is not shattered. Like, there's no physical damage to the outside of the phone, so it doesn't look like I've done anything. And there's no warranty seals or stickers in the phone anywhere. So theoretically, there's no way that they would know as long as I could adhere the screen back to the phone, which I actually did have trouble with despite using the correct adhesive. So what I did is take a heat gun and just sort of blast the edges of the phone to try to set the glue, and it, as far as I'm aware, it worked because I threw it in a shipping box and sent it off. So hopefully the screen stayed together. Honestly, if it doesn't, I'm gonna be a little
little upset.
A little screwed and a little upset, yes. But he told me that the process is that I send my phone in, he'll give me a label, they'll look at it and send me a replacement. Now, I did ask him, and I had to ask him a few times to like clarify, if they do find evidence of the warranty being void, then they'll just send the phone back. At least that's what I understand. He wasn't a very easy individual to understand. At least he wasn't cooperating with that. And what was I going to say? Oh, so I even though I told him that I was going to do this, and he wanted to make sure that I was going to do it before he even initiated this, I just said like, yeah, whatever. And I get the shipping labels and all this stuff, and I'm reading through the process instructions, and this label doesn't even have Google on it. It says shipping to Synergy with a C. And I looked them up, and they're a outsourced like third-party device repair company. So Google literally just doesn't even handle this themselves. They just pay some company to just, I guess, look at Pixel devices.
What the
Yeah. So I'm thinking, if this is some company that literally doesn't care, they just have this contract with Google, the chances of this little scheme of mine working are a lot higher. So I decided to risk it and risk wasting a bunch of my time to set the screen back in, throw it in a box, and ship it off. And it arrived there today. We'll see what happens on the next episode, I guess.
Yep. So the next episode, look forward to Alex either A, having gotten away with it, or B, being very, very mad.
Yeah, probably. And then
probably both. Potentially both.
But yeah, my weekend didn't stop there. No, it continued to claim more victims. So after that, victims is in more brain cells of mine. But I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for a replacement phone in the meantime, and I had recently given my backup phone to my mom because it's better than the phone she was using, and she was complaining about hers being very slow. And I feel a little bad about that, but, I got to have a phone. So I was in the process of that, and I backed up all of my data to Google. Like, they have the built-in backup service in Android that's through Google, and it saves it to your Google Drive. And it says that it includes text messages and call logs. I'm like, well, that way I don't have to use one of those garbage third-party apps that you find all over the Play Store with ads and in-app purchases, and like sometimes it's not even the right thing. Like, they say they back up SMS, but they don't. It's just for apps or something. And I just do that, and I move on, and I get this phone from my mom, and I factory reset it, and what do you know? I couldn't retrieve the backup. It's just like, there's no backups there. So it says that you have to be in the current version of Android or like the version of Android that the backup was made on or later. So my Pixel 2, being a Pixel, has Android 10, which is the latest version. And then the phone that I'm back to now is an LG G6, which is very much stuck on Android 8.0.
Huh. That's not good.
So, bye-bye to call logs and SMS from forever ago.
That sucks.
At least not the SMS, because thank God this SMS app that I switched to recently called Pulse. I have an account with them just because it's like a nice app, and I actually do pay a fee for it. But it just like happened to back up my SMS. Like, I didn't even realize it did that.
Nice.
But they're all there.
Good on them.
So yeah, those are there. Still not my call logs, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I'm still trying to get the Android emulator to sign into my Google account so I can like maybe restore a backup on my emulator on my laptop and then save it with the third-party crappy app. But I don't know. I'll see what I can do about that at another time. Because I want to, like, now that I have all this stuff on this phone, I'm going to want to back up from from this phone's backup on my next phone, not the one just to get my call logs. And you can't back up from two different backups. You can only back up from one when you start the phone up for the first time after factory reset, and that's it. Which is really stupid, and I think Google needs to desperately change that.
But I'm just thinking, isn't there any way you could like force Android 10 onto that device?
No, I looked up custom ROMs because I'm very experienced in the custom ROM world, and I used to do that all the time with my old Nexus devices, but there are no custom ROMs out there for this phone.
Nothing.
Like, there's like one with Android 9, and it's like an AOSP thing. It's not even like a good custom ROM. But I was prepared to work with AOSP, just anything. But no, Android 9, that's the best I can do.
Any developers out there trying to make an Android 10.
I'm pretty sure the reason that is because the bootloader on this phone is extremely hard to bypass.
Okay. Fair.
Because manufacturers other than Google love to do that, especially Samsung.
That's the kind of thing about putting Android 10 on an S9. Just kind of want to do it, Android 10 on an S9.
I can't believe Samsung isn't updating the S9.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a year old.
Yeah, I think just about a year old, because the 10 came out 3 or 4 months ago.
That's insane. That is actually insane. They seriously expect their devices to last a year.
Yeah.
And that is why I never will buy a Samsung. Never have bought a Samsung.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I owned one Samsung phone, and it was like, it had a slide-out keyboard.
That's different.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't run Android.
Like, for me, is that, like, my thing is that if I ever buy an Android phone, which I might at some point just have an Android phone, as a backup, I'm probably just going to get a Pixel. Because, like, I think the Pixel is, I think as people say, the iPhone of Androids.
It is.
Which, because, like, it comes with a manufacturer, gets all the latest updates. Like, that's for me, it's like, if I'm going to use Android, it's for the software.
That's exactly why I like the Pixel line.
Because, like,
because these other manufacturers, they put a bunch of bloatware and BS on there that I don't want, and then they can't be bothered to ever update them.
It's about Samsung Milk Music. Bixby.
B. I hate Bixby. And then LG, this phone...
Samsung App Marketplace.
Every time this phone updates, there's a new pre-installed app that you have to contend with every time you factory reset the phone. Mm-hmm. So there's LG Backup and Restore and then AT&T Backup and Restore, both of which are fighting for your attention through the setup process on this phone.
Oh, God.
And then there's about somewhere between 5 and 15, I don't honestly know, system apps that I have to go through and disable. Otherwise, they keep sending you notifications and trying to get you to use them. And I don't want to use all these stupid AT&T and LG apps like AT&T Drive Mode or LG Smart World. I don't know what those are. I don't care what they are. I want them out of my face. Why is this not uninstallable for my phone? Leave.
Yeah.
So also it comes pre-installed with oh my god, the Samsung web browser, because Chrome wasn't good enough for anyone. Nobody. And there's also the AOSP default web browser that is not Chrome, but still Samsung has to make their own.
How many other crappy stock Samsung apps are there? Samsung
Too
Calculator.
Too many. Yeah, I'm sure. Like LG has their own calendar that's not removable. LG actually does use the Google Calculator on here, so good on them for that only. On that
Samsung Games.
Oh, I have LG Games. Where is it? I actually never
Samsung messaging client.
This one had like an AT&T carrier messaging client, which is even worse.
Oh God.
What was the one I was trying to get at? My train of thought got ruined, but
I don't even know.
It doesn't matter. That's just stupid bloatware.
Yeah.
Anyway, back closing all of those tabs that we just opened there. Basically, I got screwed out of my data, so I was trying to enjoy the weekend, and my mom's like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do on Monday?" Because Sunday I was doing my homework that night, and I'm like, "Well, I'll probably just like use this one day now that I've gotten all this shitstorm behind me of devices malfunctioning and anything and everything that can go wrong going wrong. I was just to finally relax and just chill, probably nothing. And then Sunday night, I'm rummaging through my backpack and I see my SSD and I think of something I have to do with the SSD. Anyway, long story short, I have the SSD plugged into my phone, doing a file transfer. The file transfer isn't working. I'm like, wow, it's taking forever. Let me hit cancel. And I go back to look at the SSD and the whole directory doesn't load. I'm like, well, this driver that I'm using is kind of funky, so I'll just, because, for some reason, some phones don't have exFAT drivers built in, so you have to pay. Like the Pixel 2, for some reason, does not have an exFAT driver built in. This one does, but I had the app installed, so the app took over and was acting as my exFAT driver when that happened. But I plugged the SSD into my laptop, which obviously running Windows has an exFAT driver because Microsoft owns the rights to that. Mm-hmm. The directory listing didn't come up, meaning those files just got deleted because I was trying to cut and paste one other file. Let's just delete the entire SSD. And I have a lot of stuff on that SSD. There's half of it, which is really important to me, stuff that I don't have saved anywhere else because it's an SSD. It's pretty robust. Nothing's going to happen to that data on there. It's safe. I use it all the time, so it gets repowered. It's not going to lose it over time or anything like that. It is safe to keep there. And then there's the other half of the SSD, which is a bunch of stupid virtual machines that I'm never going to use again, probably. And then a duplicate copy of MATLAB, because I have another one on my laptop because I use it literally all the time. Guess what files were there and which ones weren't?
MATLAB and your
stupid virtual machines. Yep, those are all there. They're doing just fine. They're all right. All my other stuff, no, it's nowhere to be seen.
Your homework folder?
Yeah, homework folder.
Yep.
I do a lot of homework.
I mean, for college, you gotta do your homework.
Yeah, I got 50 gigabytes of homework in there.
Lots of homework.
Lots.
Continue.
All those MATLAB figures, But, oh man. So I was freaking out. And originally I'm thinking, there's no way I can get that back. I can't afford these data recovery services. Or actually, I didn't even think of that at first. I'm just thinking, it's gone. And then, long story short, the next day, well, actually, I went running through a bunch of freeware data recovery softwares after sitting and thinking about it for a little while, trying to just rationalize the situation in my head because I was just so brain dead by everything that had been happening and ticked off. And this one that I tried was just absolute garbage. It was for retrieving photos from dead SD cards, and it renamed all your files and didn't keep the structure, so it was basically useless to me because it was recovering a bunch of these billions of little individual files coming from Mathematica, which is the folder it was deleting at the time when I stopped it. And
literally sent to chill down my spine.
Yeah. And none of them are named, they're all named the same kinds of names as all of the things that are important to you, so you have no idea where any of it belongs, and it's basically useless.
File 1.
Yeah, it's just it's literally an F and then a long number with maybe the right extension, maybe.
Do you have a picture, file3.txt?
Yeah.
Good picture.
You just rename it to .jpeg against a photo.
That doesn't work, does it?
It does if it's encoded correctly.
Yeah.
But anyway, I through some means. That is all. I'm not advocating anything. You can email legal@sleepdrunk.net for any questions. I got me access to EasyOS data recovery, and that actually worked very well. And I was able to retrieve most, if not all, of everything that I cared about on that SSD. So very happy about that. But yeah, that wasted basically the entire rest of my Monday that I had there because I had to leave Monday night after dinner. Mm-hmm. So instead of chilling and relaxing that Monday, I dealt with more absolute bullshit. And my weekend, that was a long weekend, and usually my weekends at home feel decently long. That weekend felt like it just blew by because the entire time I was dealing with stupid crap, and I feel like I never even got a chance to relax and go home. So it's really upsetting, honestly. And I get back here and, well, that's probably stuff that I shouldn't say on here, but there are not good things happening here.
Yeah, we're having some, I'll just say, household
cutlery related issues.
Yeah, household and giraffe related issues.
And giraffe related issues, yeah.
Nothing too big, but kind of sucks.
But it's annoying. I just don't want to have to deal with this.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yep. So is that about your ass blast?
Yeah.
It's been thoroughly blasted out?
Thoroughly, yes.
Right.
And I wish it would stop.
Switching to Alavi's anecdotal adventures, because that was my old thing. Let's get out to the long-time listeners. Oh, wow. 2 weeks is a long time. It's been midterm season out here. For me, that I have most of my midterms behind me. I have one actually tomorrow at the time of recording. For my computer science class, I've been studying graphs and trees and link lists. So I've been studying for that, but rewinding 2 weeks. Major events. Had my stats midterm. That went all right. Had econ midterm, which I think went really well. And afterwards, like, we played a game in class, which is, like, funny because it's a college class. You don't really play games in college classes, but we did.
I know a guy that their professor actually starts up Kahoot. It's like, what is this, middle school?
I mean, to be fair, my good friend Max, his Spanish professor plays Kahoot.
Regularly.
Every class they run Kahoot.
In college?
In college. Okay, his Spanish professor is a whole mess. His Spanish professor is a whole situation, which I'll see if I can get him on at some point to talk about it, because that man is a situation. But I guess after that kind of stuff, I think one of the Wednesdays, actually the Wednesday before finals started, it's a pretty average Wednesday, but I was waiting for a package, right?
Finals.
Midterms. I was waiting for a package from a place in the US, a place that is like a newer Mexico, right? A region. That package, I purchased a while ago, about a month ago. Took some time. If you're wondering, I purchased a saxophone. I think this is the first saxophone I've purchased with my money, because the last saxophone I bought, I was like 13. And the only reason I bought it was because my dad didn't want to pay rent to own. Because rent to own some honestly.
It is.
Like, we paid so much more for a sax than we should have. But beside the point. So this is my first saxophone. I got it from the great fellows over at secondending.com. George, great guy. George, don't dox me. And so that took we paid for, I'm going to talk more about it later, hopefully. But so that arrived, right? So I was following the tracking number on, like, it was through priority mail. So I was checking the tracking number. It says delivered. Right? So I'm like, oh, it's delivered. And normally the way things work here is that you go to the mailroom. So we have a college mailroom, right? And they send you an email when your package has been sorted. Right? So there's like a process where they receive the package, they sort it into lockers or hold it behind the counter or whatever they got to do, and then they email you saying, hey, you have a package ready. But I thought, since this is a very large, very fragile package, it's worth going there and just asking for it, because I didn't want them accidentally damaging it or doing anything funky, right? So what we do is that me and Alex, I see a notification. So actually, no, I go in the morning, right? And they say, so I said it was delivered. So I go in the morning, I'm like, hey, what's the deal? Can I pick it up? And they're like, yeah. So when it says delivered, it means they went to the local post office, not the university. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I come back later. I see a notification on my phone. It says, you have a package waiting. I'm like, oh, package is waiting. I'm going to go to it. It's in a locker. I thought, how do they fit that in the locker? Whatever. Me and Alex hop in my car. We drive to a nearby lot that's near the mailroom. They say, lot closes at 6. Solidly 5:30. Lot closes at 6.
Not even 5:30. Like, it was 5:28.
Yeah, that's like 5:25.
Roll in. This construction worker, he looks at us. He's like holding his hand up all awkwardly, and we roll down the window. He's like, the lot closes at 6.
I'm like, even if I was in that lot,
it's a 30-minute parking lot. Like,
it would have been 5:55.
We would have had to have left by then.
Yeah, we would have had to have left. But you know, whatever. Like, whatever. I don't want to kill the vibe. I'm happy. I find a different parking, right? We park. This guy from New Jersey doesn't know how to park. Whatever. Right? Have a little parking kerfuffle. We park. We walk to the mailroom. I'm excited. I'm like a little child. I'm really excited. Right? I go in. I go to the locker. The locker is really small. I open up the locker. Inside it is the water bottle I'm holding currently. And so I think, this is a water bottle.
As you would.
And I resent this water bottle, but I'm like, you know what? They might still have it behind the counter. So I go to the counter and I ask the guy, I'm like, hey, you know you normally wait for the email, but just like, is there any way I could just check, please, this is really important to me. He's like, hey, we got a lot of packages and we got to sort them. I got my one guy, I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't want to fight him, right?
Yeah.
Also, if you're listening, you gained weight, man. I'm sorry. You put on some pounds, get into shape. You.
He's a nice dude. There's no need for that.
Okay, he's a nice guy. I'm sorry, man. But that being said, I care about you. I care about your health. I think you gotta be healthy. Care about you. But anyway, we hop back in my car, and I'm just stuck with this profound disappointment. Like, I mean, profound disappointment. I'm really not happy. But regardless, we come back, and that night we had plans to go for some seafood, like some fresh seafood, some oysters, because it's oyster season in our area. So I was looking forward to that. So
I got some scallops, despite the fact that it's not even June 28th.
look, man, we can celebrate. It's June 28th somewhere.
It's Tau Day every day.
It's June 28th somewhere.
No, but yeah.
So somewhere in space, it's June 28th. But like, regardless, right? You know, so we're heading out for the food. I check, like, as we're getting in Alex's car, he's also driving this time. I check my phone. What would you know it? You have a package behind the counter. Main room closes at 7. It's 6:28 or 6:30. Right. Alex graciously drives to the mailroom. I pick up the package from behind. I literally rushed in there, holding my phone. I was like, "Hey, I got a package behind the counter." Like, I had my phone. I was just like running
Hey, I got a package. You got a package.
with it in my hand. And he's like, "All right, cool." The guy gets me huge box. I'm fucking ecstatic. Right. I take that thing in. We get in the car. We go out. I had 11 oysters, a little bit much. Probably should have only gotten 6, but I got 12. But I enjoyed them. Good oysters. Had a good time.
Gets back to the dorm, realizes the entire box is full of packing peanuts.
And that's a good thing.
But that's all.
That there wasn't. There's this box
and
right there.
a saxophone.
Yeah, and a sax. It's a bubble wrap. I sat in the box. Me and Bree sat in the box. Chill out the box. That happened. Then the weekend came. My Columbus Day holiday, whatever you want to call it, weekend, because controversy, Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever, that weekend, right? I think it was pretty good. I had some adventures. A very close friend, very close old friend of mine that I've known like literally forever. Tom, he came over. We spent the way it went out was that there near where he lives there's a store that sells like musical equipment, right? And I was thinking, I just got a new saxophone. I have to start getting set up, get like mouthpiece and all that. So I want to go out there, try some mouthpieces, look at some cases, the whole 9 yards, right? So we pick him up. Me and then our flatmate Bree came with us. Came with me. You know, we went to the music store. That was actually a lot of fun. Great people at the store. Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center. Shout out to you guys. Great store, awesome store. Mitch, sorry I didn't buy anything. I had to go, and you were being really pushy, and I was going there with the intention of trying things to buy them later, which is actually like a relatively common practice. At least in the music world, like you go, you try a few things. If you're not feeling it, you go, whatever, right? And also because I hadn't been paid yet for my job, but got paid later in the weekend. But so I went there, tried some stuff out, had a really good time. Once again, great people at the store. Came here, hung out, rebuilt a fort in the living room, which is fun. Watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay in that fort. Didn't sleep well in that fort. Slept pretty poorly in that fort. Very poorly. And so then we hung out, and the next day, Tom and I decided to go hang with our old friend Max, who mentioned earlier has a fun Spanish professor. And that's when the adventure started. So, spent the morning, it was a Sunday morning, giving Tom a tour of the campus, giving him a walk around, showing him what's what, usual. And then Max says, all right, cool, good to come over. We go over to his place, we pick him up, we're like, all right, what the hell are we going to do? Because we had no idea what we were going to do. Like, hey, let's go to the park. Because we had this like local little park we used to go to. It's like middle schoolers. We go there. Park. And even then we were kind of on the old side for the park. We were on the older end.
Yeah, they were the hoodlums.
And at this point, we're all around 20. We're at the park, right? Then we're just kind of chilling there. Someone pulled out a combustible thing that is not federally illegal. That is federally legal. That combustible thing was partially consumed at the park. Felt like a degenerate. And hung out there. FaceTime my mom, was on the swings, chilling out. We saw some kids come like, hey, we want to be the 20-year-old dudes at the park consuming a combustible thing that is federally legal. No, we don't want to be those. We don't want to be those people. So we left. We're like, all right, what do we do next? Let's go to the mall. Get some Dippin' Dots. Our mall is trash. Our local mall, it really, it felt the mall decline. In the past, especially 5-6 years, there's been nationwide in the US this really large reduction in big shopping malls because of Walmart and the internet. So ours really felt that. Really, really felt that. We go there. We enter through Dick's, right? Because it's pretty funny. Sporting
Entering
through Dick's. And enter through Dick's.
Sounding.
Yeah. we enter through Dick's. We're talking all kinds of shit in Dick's. And I had the sense, I knew where the Dippin' Dots was. Max was like, how do you know we got in the right place? I'm like, I just know. We walk outside Dick's, Dippin' Dots is right there. Literally right in front of us. I knew. I'm a fiend for Dippin' Dots. We go in there. We get our Dippin' Dots. We're talking Dippin' Dots. Hey, let's go to Hot Topic. Hot Topic, for those of you who don't know, it's just this, like a store. It's a counterculture store for people that think they're counterculture but aren't counterculture.
Yeah, because like if there's a store for you, then you're probably not counterculture.
Yeah, it's like a sort of emo geek kind of store. And I used to go there when I was younger and get epic anime shirts, some of which I still own. Like I use as sleeping shirts. But so we go in there, we look around, we see some $3 stickers. Like, I'm not feeling $3 stickers. I'm not feeling that. Some of them are actually kind of cool stickers. Not feeling that. We just looked around Hot Topic for a bit, regretted it heavily. We left. We're thinking, all right, where do we go next? Walk around. I went to the van store for a bit because I'm looking at some new vans at some point. Not much there. Then we decided to go because Max wanted to get some items made of glass to consume various substances. Substances which I will not name. I do not advocate any kind of the consumption of anything.
Legal@sleepdrug.net.
Yeah, legal@sleepdrug.net. This is all fiction, totally. 100% did not happen. Various substances. He wanted to consume those various substances. And so we go to Spencer's. I thought Spencer's, if there's a store in the mall that's going to have it, it's going to be Spencer's. That would have something to consume substances out of that is made of glass. And so we go into Spencer's, and I touched a phallic gummy. Didn't like, it's a life-size phallic gummy. Didn't like that. Life-size phallic stress ball. Too squishy. It was a lot of stuff going on there. It's a store. If you've been to the back of Spencer's, you know. If you're under 18, don't go to the back of Spencer's.
I can't say I've ever been to Spencer's.
It's just kind of like a Hot Topic, but like, it's like Hot Topic meets frats. That's the best way to describe it. It's like Hot Topic plus frats.
All right. I get it.
That's basically what Spencer's is. So we went there. We didn't find anything. We're like, all right, now what? I think we went to GameStop, almost bought some really crappy cheap games, like cheap used games that were like crap. Then what else? Oh yeah, right. We went to, so our mall used to have a Brookstone, right? And like Brookstone is one of those mall stores that like everyone, like, you know what a Brookstone, like, you can't really describe what Brookstone sells. Like, it's really like they sell things. Yeah, they sell cool things.
Yeah.
And so, like,
just like odd things that you wouldn't find in many other places.
Like massage chairs, drones, sand, like personal massagers.
Sharper image.
Yep. Like, just they just sell things. And I think they've been going out of business lately. Like, they've been closing stores. So our one closed and was replaced with like I just guess like the kind of place where you're invited to a dinner party and you have to bring a gift. And so you bring one unit of gift. Like, they sell units of gift. Like, scented candles, overpriced salsa, weird tortilla chips. The kind of thing where it's like, it's just a, like, pre-wrapped. It's just a gift. Something you just give someone. It's an item. And, like, I looked in the background. They had some fridges where they're supposed to store stuff, and the fridges were empty. And, like, I can tell they hadn't been stocked in a while. Like, they hadn't even been in that booth for that long.
Out too.
They've been in that booth for less than a year. Like, I know, they weren't there in the summer. They've been in there for a couple of months, and they're already going bad. Like, yeah, that cursed. So we went through there, and like these ladies, they didn't even try to sell anything to us. They knew we weren't going to buy anything. They just sat in the back and hung out. So we went from there.
I mean, like, maybe that's why they're not. Maybe that's why they're going out of business. Gotta be a little more pushy. Gotta get some good salesmen, you know.
Yep. And so afterwards, we went one more stop. We went to the As Seen on TV store, which somehow is still in business. Somehow. I have no idea how.
Boomers.
I also think that they probably just have really large margins.
And that.
Like,
mostly boomers, but
yeah. Like, I went in there and I saw for those who don't know, we have an election coming up in America in a year, roughly. Just a year, like 13 months, right?
Yeah.
Big deal,
pretty
civic
big deal.
duty. You should get involved. You should vote. Voting's good. We encourage voting. They were on that. Said America's choice, right? America should make their, like, it's up to us to vote and choose between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama.
A little bit behind the times.
Just a little bit. Like 8 years behind the times. But you know what? Also, they were Chia Pets. For context, they were Chia Pets. 8 years behind the times, but you know what?
But like, America should choose.
They chose.
Choose their Chia Pet.
We chose. You can choose Chia Pet, but that decision has been made.
It definitely has.
That decision was well made.
You can
then another
somehow
decision was
travel
made
back in time and change it.
Like,
but you won't be doing that probably.
Like, that decision was made. Then another decision was made. And here we are. So good effort. Good effort, as seen on TV store. Actually, the stand was in really good condition for a stand that old. It was just a cardboard pop-up stand, but it was in really good condition for one that was that old. Like, just like a little cardboard shelf, not like a prop, just like it's cardboard. It was in good shape. So props where it was, but like that was just jokes. That was just funny. And so afterwards, we were gonna spam, but we had one more stop. Max really wanted an item to consume substance out of legallysleepdrunk.net, right? So we went to the mud. We were in, if you know, like, we came, like, okay, so he gives me the address to this place, right? This is a place that sells things. It's a head shop. Like, it's a head shop. But, so he gives me the address to this place. I pull up, right? I get there, go through a whole journey to get there. Really, not the most posh place. Not the most posh place. No? I pull up, I park. Next to me is a BMW, I think like a 3 Series, I want to say. It was a sedan. I'm not super knowledgeable on BMWs. Had camo wrap, just the hood, just the bonnet. Just a little thing that pops up, covers the engine. Just that Arctic camo. Right? I'm like, all right, great start. I look out the window, I see taxes. Just a sign that just says taxes. Just taxes, miscellaneous. I see like insurance, something about Jesus Cristo. No idea what that's about. Something, it was in the default word font. Like Algeria, something about Jesus. A place that unlocks phones. Promising, get your phone unlocked. How you got it, don't worry about that.
You forgot your password.
Yeah, you forget your password.
That's
like,
all. That's
you're
the
old.
Only possible reason.
They unlock phones. Saw a thrift store, and I saw a place that gives you massages. Maybe in certain parts of your body. Maybe not your back, not your legs, not your feet, not your head. Part of your body. Give it a little massage.
Not your torso.
Yep, not your torso.
Not your legs.
No. Just give you a massage. One of those kind of places. I'm like, all right, this is clearly a high-class place. Have this permeating odor of feces. High-class place. Right? We walk up to visit this shop, and like on the... It's like, it was like you have to take a couple of staircases, and it's like a back part of the building. So we take these staircases up, there's like boxes of things strewn everywhere, like a weird half staircase. We get there, we open the door, and like, it's just like a hallway that sharply turns left, and then there's like a steel door. Like an industrial steel door. We enter that shop. There's some girls in there that look like they needed fakes to drive. Way too young to be in there. The dude is behind the counter. Max is perusing the various wares. And he doesn't find what he's looking for. We promptly leave. Just this crappy, dingy place. We hop back in the car, and we see that the girls that needed fakes to drive, they're in a Range Rover. Like, what the hell? What the hell? How the hell did you get a Range Rover at the age of 12? But, like, they're in that car, they pull out, and right before we're leaving, we see the shop owner leave with some guy. The shop owner hops into the black camo BMW.
Oh, no.
The shop owner, the shop clerk, not owner, the clerk, because I think he's not the owner, he's the clerk. He's just some teenage guy. The guy just hands him a black bag, like one of the kind of places you get like a liquor store. Yeah. Just hands him a black bag. I'm like, all right, we should probably leave. Although we did do a bit of mud exploring. We explored the mud a little bit. And I'm trying to leave. I get my GPS set. Of course, my dumb ass makes a wrong turn. And I was going to make a U-turn, but Max was like, no, we're going deeper in. And so we went all the way into the mud. Like, we went deep into the mud, and then we got out the mud, and we were terrified. But we made it out, and I'm here, and I came out the mud.
It's like an escape room, except a little less fake.
Yep. It was not the best place, but we made it out. Yeah. That was that. God. And then afterwards, I dropped Tom off at the metro. Yeah.
As you do.
Yep. Then I came back and just hung out, ate some gummy bears. And other than that, not a ton has happened. I had a take-home midterm. Actually, one more eventful story before we kind of like start wrapping things up.
Which we need to be doing. Holy.
Yes, we do. One more quick thing. So for my history class, my history of emotions class, part of the class is we do a presentation, right? One big presentation, like we're broken into groups, we do a presentation on a specific emotion, right? And so my presentation, so it was like five people in the group, each one has their own little unit. And my little unit was on grief in Heian, Japan, because I'm writing my final paper on emotional expression in Heian, Japan. And so we do that, and then use that after the presentation, we're supposed to turn in a paper, right? Just like a quick paper talking about what you did, right? My presentation was a month ago, just about a month ago. I hadn't turned my paper in until yesterday. Right? Maybe the night before. hadn't turned it in. Because, like, he never gave us a hard due date. And, like, I was like, I'll do it later. And a month passed, right? And I'm like, I should probably write this. So I write it, 3 pages, I turn it in. And I'm expecting, like, he's probably not going to give me a great grade on it. Because, like, I turned it in really late. And, like, I was like, fine, I'll do it with that consequence. His response, good paper. Could have gone on this, but overall great paper. Grade A. I am so happy. Like, I love this man. Like, shout out to you, Professor Sturgeon. I love you to death. Thank you so much. I'll take the A. I think it was a good paper, too. I'll take the A. Hell yeah. And with that being said, thank you for listening to this episode of the Sleep Drunk Podcast. Remember that the first person to guess Song of the Day on any of our social media or via email will get a shout out in the next episode. Song of the Day for episode 31 was Pills and Automobiles by Chris Brown. I just kind of had it stuck in my head. I don't know how it slipped under me. It's a real Boolin song. Chris Brown, a Yo Gotti, a Boogie with a Hoodie, and Kodak Black, who's been in prison for a while now. Also, don't forget to share the show. We really appreciate it. Helps us grow. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Sleep Drunk Podcast can be found on any of your favorite podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. We'll catch you next time.